can subscribe to the International Forecaster, and so they can read it every week as I do, and so many of our listeners do.
Well, the forecast is about business, finance, economic, social, and political issues all over the world. We publish by email on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Excuse me. And it usually runs around 35 pages each time. And we have a hard copy for those who are not on the Internet, and that is delivered out by U.S. mail twice a month. If you would like to get a free introductory copy, you can go to one of three places. Our site, which is the International Forecaster, FORECASTER.com. The International Forecaster.com. Or you can email us at bob@intforecaster.com. That's Bob, BOB-INTFORECASTER.com. Or you can call toll-free 800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188.
All right, fine. Well, let's go to Robert, who's calling from Gilroy. Again, our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. Robert, how are you today?
Pretty good, Dr. Stan. I just want to report to you that I went over to Elliott Coin Shop a few weeks ago and tried to buy some gold coins and could not do it. They would not sell me any.
Well, if you need other places, we have a couple of other people that do sell. You could call that telephone number that Bob put up, or you can call certainly to Ted Anderson here, and I know you'll be able to buy gold coins. But apparently there is somewhat of a shortage. Is that right, Bob?
Yeah, there has been for almost a year now. And previously, most of the buying was coming out of Europe and Asia, particularly Europe, which historically have not been, big gold coin, silver coin buyers. And now, in the last, I would say 6 months, the buying in the United States has really increased. And so there has been a great many people who have been buying. The point of this whole matter is that there is a shortage. It's a deliberate shortage, I think. Mints are not minting. The U.S. Mint has said, no, we're not going to mint any more coins because we can't get the blanks that they need to cut the coins. They have another name for it. I forget what it is. And that's adding to the problem. And the important point here is I've talked to people in that industry, and they figure only about 1.5% of Americans are in gold and silver coins. Can you imagine what those numbers would be like, which is 15%? So this is where this is headed. Gold owes nobody anything. Every fiat currency in the world owes everybody everything that holds that currency, and most of them have nothing behind it. Governments are running naked, governments are running in debt, and that's just the way it is. And in these perilous times, people want to have something solid, so they're buying coins.
Well, Robert, what did they tell you when you went over to the coin store?
They said there was no coins available for sale. Elliott wasn't the only one I went to. I went to another coin dealer, and they had no coins available for sale. And the premiums, even if they had it, the premiums were something like $100 per coin. Now, I happen to know that this bailouts will not work, Dr. Stan, and the reason why it won't work, what the Treasury and what the banks are not talking about today, is that the cash is draining out of bank accounts, and they can't figure out where it's going. And I thought it would go to coins, but apparently if coins are not available for sale, then it can't go there either. Maybe they're not making coins available for sale because they don't want people converting cash to coins.
I think that's a very good thought. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
The gentleman is absolutely correct.
Okay, I think Bob...
And I heard from one of my spies today in London, and he got this from a politician in London, that behind the scenes, because of this run in gold and silver coins, that and bullion as well, the government had been talking secretly behind the scenes about limiting people as to how many coins they could own. So this is something new. No one has published this. I get it through one of my sources. The source is really, really good.
Okay, well, that's rather frightening, but we're living in frightening times. Robert, anything else you wanted to say before we let you go?
Yes, I just have one thing to conclude. The reason why the bailouts won't work is that they can print all the money they want, but the American people, because there is a lack of confidence, it's withdrawing their money from circulation. They do it two ways. They can convert dollars to other things, old muscle cars or coins, or they can simply quit spending.
Right.
And I think the savings rates are going up, and that means that all these corporations are going to feel something very bitter coming on them in the next few months. And printing money will not resolve this problem. We have a problem of confidence.
You're absolutely right, and with good reason. The people who are in charge hate America. They're loyal to a one-world government, and I really believe they're going to destroy this nation. Anyway, God bless. Thanks very much, Robert.
Right.
Let's go to L.A. Samples calling us from Dallas. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. Just a couple of questions for Mr. Chapman.
All right, before you do, I'll put the telephone number out. It's 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295. And what are your questions?
I'm a relatively new subscriber to International Forecaster, but I've been listening a long time. Anyhow, my questions are, Bob, I live in the Dallas area, on the suburbs here, of about 50,000 people in the suburbs, and there's a main street that goes through here, and in a 4-mile long strip here, there are 12 banks, freestanding banks, and I'd say about 9 of them are new. Can you tell me what's up with that? Why are they? And these banks they're about a year old, maybe a year and probably about a year old. Can you tell me why they're building so many banks, and are they doing that in other parts of the country? Have you heard anything like that?
I haven't. I've seen a few, and that kind of conclusion came to me that, why would they be doing that? And I don't really know. Perhaps these newer banks see an opportunity of absorbing clientele from banks that have gotten into trouble. Banking is a very lucrative business normally. When you can, lend 8 or 40 to 1 of what you have, that's pretty good as long as you don't get caught and do the wrong thing like they did with the real estate business. But I just don't know. I can't answer that.
A lot of them are the major banks like Chase and those people like that. I just wondered. It's kind of interesting. I mean, there's one intersection where there's 3 banks at that intersection.
Right. Well, you remember somebody once asked Willie Sutton, the actor Sutton, the famed bank robber, why do you rob banks? And he says, because that's where the money is. And maybe that's why they're building them. That's where the money is. The banking is the greatest fraud of all time. A fractional reserve banking, responsible banking. You need responsible banking. We do not have responsible banking in the United States today. And they're the ones who precipitated the crisis, but I think they did it intentionally. The small banks are going to pay a terrible price for what this very small group of elitists have done to us. Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go, L.A.?
Just one more quick question.
Right.
I hear you saying, along with others, and I believe it, that we're going to go through a time of hyperinflation and then deflation. And can you just real simply tell me why we're going to have hyperinflation? If I understand it, money has to be lent and then money has to be spent.
Well, Bob, you want to tackle that, or shall I tackle that?